Grab you a cup of coffee, and today we are talking about homeschooling through the holidays, part 2. Hey everyone, as you can tell from my Snoopy 'tis the season hoodie, we are talking all about holidays today, and we're going to be sharing basically what I'm calling a part 2 of a series that I actually started last winter, but I've kind of been sharing this every season around Thanksgiving, Christmas, sharing like our tips for this, but I officially kicked off the season or the series last year, and then I decided I wanted to continue it through this year. So if you haven't seen the first video that we made last holiday season, click the cards up above. If I forget, tell me in the comments below because I'm human and I forget. But let's go ahead and kick this off today. We are sharing 5 of our tips of how we homeschool through the holidays. Now, for those who are new, hi. We have been homeschooling for 14, 15 years. My oldest 2 are fixing to graduate high school. So we've homeschooled literally every holiday season for like my kids' entire, lifetime of being in school from pre-K to graduating this spring. And we've just found some little tips and tricks that work through the holiday season. So number 1 tip is have easy worksheets or projects on hand for your kids to do. Because guys, we're moms, we're parents. We are so busy during the holiday season. There's wrapping presents, there's caroling, there's doing cards for people. Get to that in a minute. There's the food. There's so much food. There's grocery shopping, paying bills, keeping up with just around the house cleaning. We are so busy as parents that sometimes we are not going to have time to do the everyday things that we need to do for homeschooling. So one of the things that we have done over the years that work for that is that we'll have like some easy worksheets on hand that are kind of holiday themed for the kids to do. For example, one of my favorite ones, and I'll try to link it, is there is a website that takes like Pokemon and Disney princesses and Star Wars, and it's a coloring grid, and as you answer like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, or for the younger kids just like knowing your numbers, like color by number, you answer those facts and it fills in a picture. Like it could be like C-3PO for Star Wars, or it can be Disney princesses, or like I said, one of my favorite things to do is like to print it out and then black out, or go into Photoshop and black it out, the name of the Pokemon for my kids, and then let them color it in and figure out what the Pokemon is, which my kids are now old enough, they look at the colors and they can kind of guess it, but it's still I think it's still kind of fun for them to do those. But they also have some that are holiday themed. You can get some that end up making pictures of ornaments, Christmas trees, Christmas presents, things like that. So having those on hand really helps, especially like right now, we're prepping for a Thanksgiving drama in less than a week. And so like I have a day coming up where we're going to be at our church for several hours because of the Thanksgiving drama that we're going to be doing. So I need some easy things for the kids to do during the day. So having those worksheets on hand helps. Some other ones I can think of is like find some easy unit studies. Year-round homeschooling with Misty Leask. She does an incredible job making Christian-based unit studies for kids that help focus on specific subjects like just Thanksgiving, just travel. She has, I think, every single state. Like she's done one for every single specific state. Ones like that. She also has coloring pages and travel journals that we use all the time for anywhere that we travel. So having those worksheets on hand is super helpful because like I said, there may be a day where you need the kids to just sit down and do something that you don't have to sit in there and help them do while you go and wash dishes for 5 minutes or go take a shower or whatever you need to do. Having those worksheets on hand really helps. And for long road trips, they also help as well. Tip number 2 is Christmas cards. Let's talk about Christmas cards, you guys. My kids are all teens, so this is a little bit different for me. But even when my kids were little, being able to have a day where they sit down and work on Christmas cards so I could do the things I need to do actually helps out a lot. Plus, bonus for this is what I like about Christmas cards is number 1, they could practice doing addresses on envelopes. You could actually write the address out for them with all the correct spelling and then let them put that on an envelope, which I know that would take a little bit more time, but the envelopes we usually did after the cards were made or signed. And that was another thing too, is you could make cards and let them learn how to spell words like Thanksgiving and Christmas, which can be hard words for some kids to spell. Or you could just take some pre-made ones and let them each sign their name with little notes to family members, friends, whatever. And also this would help for like my kids have friends and sometimes they want to give cards to friends. And I don't have time sometimes to go and get some of the professional stuff done. But my friends' kids and my kids all like peanuts. So we pick up a pack of peanuts, themed Christmas cards, and then let them each sign their name and give it to their friend with like a little gift that they made for them. Christmas cards, it's actually a twofer because you're working on the literature, the language, the handwriting. And it's also the part where they're thinking about other people and gift giving, and it's still all holiday related, and it checks something else off of your family list of things to do at Christmas time. Tip number 3 is just simply community service. So one of the myths, and I get this from my friend Margie's book. She has a book called Myths of Education. And one of the myths that most people believe is that homeschooling is you are sitting down in a classroom-like environment and doing school. That's not true. There are many things that count as school. And if you think about like public school format, there is stuff that they do that's not sitting down in a desk all day. Think about schools that host dramas or schools that are very active in their community and things like that. So one of the misnomers is people think homeschooling is just when my kids are sitting down and doing the bookwork. That's not true. Community service 100% counts as a school day. So if, say, you go with your church group to go sing at a senior center and sing Christmas carols, guess what? That counts as a school day because you are going out of your way. You're teaching them how to put others before themselves. You're teaching them how to socialize with other people. And you're taking time out of your day to do that. And they're also learning these life skills along the way. So community service things at holidays definitely count as a school day. So if you take a whole day off and all you did was go to a senior home and sing carols to people, A, count that as a school day. B, you went and did a good thing. That's nothing to be, condemned about. So definitely count those things as you go. Or even filling Thanksgiving baskets or filling Christmas baskets or maybe doing some stockings for people. Or if you are helping out like a neighbor to do some raking leaves or things like that. Anything that's community service, as long as it's 2 hours a day, that counts as a school day. Number 4 is holiday countdown calendars. So this is actually an inspiration from another homeschooled mom that may or may not be watching this video. I recently did a house sitting job and a pet sitting job for this family. And one of the things I noticed is that before they had went on their trip, did a 30-day vacation countdown calendar. And our family had kind of been doing this too. We use our meal calendar to do that. And my kids now as teens, they help cook and they help fill in the meal calendar. So they have used it to help count down days to do the holiday calendar. So how does that help with homeschooling? It can be a great motivational tool for your family to have something that says, okay, if I get this done, that's something I can do while I'm waiting to get through this day to count down or to mark it off, counting down to the holidays. And that can be a great motivational tool for kids, especially you finish this math lesson and you can mark the calendar off for the day. Or let's go do this literature and read this book real quick and you can mark the calendar off for the day. And with some families, you can even let each of your kids make an individual calendar and let them go through it. Another thing that we did last year was 2 of our kids had these, and Aldi didn't do these this year that we saw, but a couple of years ago, Aldi had these advent calendars where it was kind of like the elf on a shelf, but it was a gnome. It's called Gnome in the Home. And it came with a 24-day advent calendar countdown for your kids. And my kids had a blast. 2 of them ended up doing pranks for the other 2 kids with it. And that was kind of their way of doing the countdown with it. But it was kind of a way of like, okay, we get through school and then we can focus on doing the prank for the next day. And they were all clean, fun pranks, and they cleared them through me and I saw the list. That is something that you can use to try to help your kids to stay focused on their tasks, but also look forward to the holidays as they approach. Tip number 5 is do not assign extra work for your kids immediately before a trip. What I mean by that is do not assign work for your kids to do if like the next day, like for that day, for like say, okay, on a Thursday, do not assign work for you to have to sit down with your kids to do if that Friday you're leaving for an entire weekend, because there's always something last minute that your brain is going to want to focus on getting done before you go on that trip. So what I do on those Thursdays is I might do a movie, and we talked about this kind of last time too, and you saw this on our last vacation that we did. So one of the days we had Finding Nemo, and what I did was I told my kids that they had to make a list of the fish and the not a fish on that list. Like things that were not a fish were like the starfish, the dolphin, whales, you know, like that. And then and some of those they got really detailed on. And then over here I let them have a Chromebook open where they could search the different kinds of fish from the movie, and they put the exact fish on there. So that's kind of like they don't need me to sit down with them and do that. So while we were on the staycation, while they were doing that, I was working on my meal plans leading up to Thanksgiving so that I could have them written out, so that leading up to the holidays I was not going to be going, oh no, I'm at the store, I totally forgot to make a list because I was so busy. What do I do? So on those days where you know you're going to be doing something the next day or the next weekend, or you're leaving town, or maybe like you've got a Christmas party at your house the next day, don't assign those projects where your kids have to have you there to do the work. Give them something they can do on their own. And I know with younger kids, this is harder. Younger kids need a little bit more attention. But that's where those movies that you can do school with really, really come into play. And that is it for today's tips, you guys. Thank you to all of our members for supporting this content and allowing us to continue making videos. And thank you to every single one of you for liking, watching, positive comments, and subscribing. And we will see you next time. Happy holidays.